Get to the White House. Let's bring in the news national correspondent, Griff Jenkins. He's live for us at the White House. Griff, what are we learning out of there tonight?
Hey, good evening, Trace. Well, we know now that the lights are dark in the Oval Office. Not a lot of activity here, but from our White House correspondent, Jackie Heinrich, we have now learned, a U.S. government official confirming to her, that the Israel strike happened in Iran, that the White House was not involved, the U.S. was not involved, and that the U.S. received pre-notification from Israel. But Trace, it's been a busy day with respect to Iran here at the White House. There was that meeting with the National Security Council, a meeting led by Jake Sullivan between U.S. and Israeli security officials, where we were told in a readout that the topic of discussion largely involved the planned offensive in Rafah, and that Sullivan shared the U.S. concerns over measures that might be taken, and that Israel noted those. We now perhaps can infer from that they talked a little bit about this. An interesting note: when the president returned to the White House from his trip in Philadelphia today, just before 5 o'clock, the president, Karine Jean-Pierre, and staff members did not go into the residence, which is normally what would happen. They went straight into the Oval Office, perhaps to discuss this. But some of the other things that happened here today, and in addition to that meeting with the NSC, was the announcement of the sanctions. The administration announcing sanctions that they're targeting Iran's drone program. They're targeting one of the country's largest steel producers, as well as automobile companies that have believed ties to the IRGC. And what's notable, I want to point out in that, Trace, is this part of the statement that the White House issued on behalf of the president, where he says, quote, "Let it be clear to all those who enable or support Iran's attacks, the United States is committed to Israel's security. We are committed to the security of our personnel and partners in the region, and we will not hesitate to take all necessary action to hold you accountable." Now, earlier, before we learned about these strikes, we reached out here at the White House for a statement from the NSC or the White House with regards to those comments by Iran's Foreign Minister Amir Abdullahian that promises a maximum response, immediate response, that the Israelis would regret if they were to take further action. So we are very much expecting, if not tonight, some response from the White House and get some gauge, because you have in this announcement of these sanctions a firm standing behind Israel and about holding people accountable. But you also have the foreign minister now in New York saying that they will respond to an action perhaps similar to what we're seeing play out right now in Iran. Trace?
And it's interesting, Griff, because over the past couple of days, and we have talked about this several times, you had immediately Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you had several members of the administration coming out and saying very forthrightly, listen, we're going after sanctions. We're going to go after Iran with sanctions. And they said it from every rooftop you could scream it from, as a way to say, we're doing this. We're going to go after Iran. Israel doesn't need to. And that was kind of the feeling that people got. And so sanctions might be coming, but Israel apparently thought it's just not enough.
And there's even questions about how effective these sanctions will be, Trace. The administration calls them swift actions, but we're not sure how swift they'll be because they did not target the oil companies in Iran. And we know that Iran has exported more oil than it ever has in the past 6 years, to the tune of $35 billion per year. And that, of course, got some criticism out there. And so it's unclear exactly how the sanctions factor into all of this. But one thing is for sure, we will be hearing, I think, from the White House tomorrow with respect to not only these actions, but also the comments from the Iranian foreign minister tonight.
Yeah. Griff Jenkins live for us at the White House. Griff, we'll get back to you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.